Hi there, it's editor me from the future. Just giving you a heads up that the recording of this particular video was challenging. In the very beginning, for the first little bit here, the audio is going to be pretty janky because for some reason Adobe Audition decided to screw up and do this weird robotic thing with my voice that is almost unintelligible for the vast majority of it. The audio does get better and I'm able to switch over to this for a little while, but I didn't feel like it was very genuine or very real for me to just re-record everything. Thanks and enjoy. Hello and welcome back. I guess to me, you've probably been here all along, but I haven't. I've been doing a lot of things. Been very busy between work, school, family, and some other stuff that's popped up. But we won't get into that right now. What I will get into is what we're doing today. What you've probably seen already is the title of this video, which is me reacting to Silicon Valley, a show that I have never seen, and honestly actually never heard of until a friend of mine asked me if I'd ever seen it. She also asked me if I would let her know what I thought of it, and I figured, hey, you know what, I could probably throw it up on YouTube too. So here I am. Never seen it, never heard of it, none of that stuff. So we're going to give this a try. I've run into a little bit of an issue with recording because it's HBO and I understand piracy and all of those laws and everything like that. So I'm going to do everything I can. You might see some choppiness here, just as a heads up. Let's get into it and hope that all of this works the way we want it to. I've only seen the first like 30 seconds of it, full disclosure, because I started recording this and then realized, oh hey, it's not recording in OBS. So let's give this a try and see how it goes. Kid Rock. Let me know in the comments if you actually enjoy Kid Rock's music. There are only like, there's like one song I like from his repertoire, whatever it is as an American. Should probably have headphones on, but I don't really want to right now.
You guys taking it all in? Because this is what it looks like when Google acquires your company for over $200 million.
Okay,
look,
yeah, no, that makes
Dustin
sense.
Moskovitz, Elon Musk, Eric Schmidt, whatever the fuck.
Elon Musk? Where? Where?
The guy's name is who created Photrio. I mean, Kid Rock is the poorest person here, apart from you guys. Okay.
Also, real quick, the name of this episode, Minimum Viable Product, MVP, is a term that's thrown out in the software world and elsewhere, honestly, but in the software world a lot. This basically means what is the minimum amount of stuff we have to put into a product to get it out the door and into customers' hands. That's really all it is. There's been a lot of talk about like optimization and problems that companies have run into with over-bloating their software or over-anticipating customer needs. And that's led to a whole lot of problems in the industry. This is a pretty, I mean, MVP is industry standard name for it. So also Google buying out for $200 million, that's pretty impressive. I doubt you'd get Elon Musk in there. I don't think he sneezes at people with $200 million with this stuff. Especially if Google bought them. I feel like Elon Musk would probably be more like focused on thumbing, like biting his thumb at Google and saying, well, it's a crap app, why wouldn't I just make something else of my own? So the name drops are really common, unfortunately. People like to talk about how important their app was or how great their app was or all of the stuff that they've done when they've been in the software world, but it's almost always annoying to hear those people. I feel kind of like the guy that's on screen right now anytime somebody name drops.
Hey, there's $40 billion of net worth walking around this party. And you guys are standing around drinking shrimp and talking about what cum tastes like. Yeah, I heard that. You guys live in my incubator, you got a network. That's why I brought you here.
I got us in here. Javed over there is my ex-roommate.
Yeah, but I drove. Eric Schmidt, Erlich Bachman.
Yeah, run. That
Hello! Woo! I got 7 words for you. I love Ghoulie Bibs integrated multi-platform functionality. Yeah! Woo!
I hate every part of what that guy just said. Also, I mean, the terminology's right, but like, don't scream that into a microphone drunkenly. That's weird. It's really weird.
But seriously, you know, a few days ago, when we were sitting down with Barack Obama, I turned to these guys and said, okay, you know, we're making a lot of money. And yes, we're disrupting digital media. But most importantly, we're making the world a better place through constructing elegant hierarchies for maximum code reuse and extensibility. So everyone, here's to many more nights just like this one. Take it away, my good friend, Kid Rock!
What a dick.
Yes. Yes. What a dick. My good friend Kid Rock. Kid Rock doesn't care about you.
Big Head, there is a personal ad section on this Asperger's site. Holy shit, this one is looking for a relationship that has the potential to become sexual in nature. Where is she on the spectrum? She can't even make eye contact with the camera.
Richard, can I talk to you for a second?
A friend of mine a while back had a joke that was like, if they're in engineering, they're on the spectrum. Yeah, that's kind of a past inward joke, but also kind of true.
Solo.
Mm-hmm.
Also, screw this guy. I can't remember his name.
We need to talk about Pied Piper.
Look, when it blows up, and it will once it reaches a critical mass of users, Pied Piper will be able to search the whole world of recorded music to find out if there's a match.
Or show some promise, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Like Nip Alert. Big Head's app, it gives you the location of a woman with erect nipples.
The software is old looking, but honestly not far off.
That's why I started this place. To do something big, to make a difference. You know, like Steve.
Jobs?
Jobs or Wozniak?
Wozniak. Wozniak was the
He
engineer.
didn't even write code.
Yes.
Excellent question. Hooli isn't just another high-tech company. Hooli isn't just about software. Hooli is about people.
Oh, God.
Hooli is about innovative technology that makes a difference.
Oh.
Transforming the world as we know it.
Oh.
Making the world a better place through minimal message-oriented transport layers. I firmly believe we can only achieve greatness if first we achieve goodness.
Oh my God. It's real. Oh my God. Every time I've ever heard like a big person in a company speak, it's that exact kind of feel. It's the we're a family. We're good. We're here for you. We're about people. No, they're not. They're about the bottom line. They're about revenue, and specifically profit as a subset of revenue. They don't care about people. They only care about users. Kind of like when you think in customer service that customers aren't people, they're customers. It's the exact same thing. When it comes to systems, a lot of people, especially higher-ups in companies, don't think about people. They think about users. The little blurb where the guy talks about communication protocol layers or whatever it was, that kind of stuff is pretty realistic, except for the fact that he was the one saying it. They don't talk like that when they get that high up anymore. Silicon Valley is not that great of a place.
Oh God, the marketing team is having another bike meeting. Douchebags.
Yeah.
Just another day inside the Gavin Belson cult compound.
Yep, that's a very West Coast kind of thing to do.
Hey, did you hear what Peter Gregory is doing? Anyway, he's also offering $100K to people willing to skip or drop out of college to pursue their idea. I don't know.
100K is not a lot of money. People talk about it like it is. $100,000 in the software engineering industry is not. $100,000 a year is like a standard pay for an entry-level software developer anymore. $100,000 to you seems like a lot of money, but to a company that's trying to get off the ground is not a whole lot of money at all. I mean, when you're paying $2,800 a month for rent, 100 grand gets squandered real quick because food, travel, tech, When you're starting a company, you got to have platforms to develop software against. It's a whole thing.
What
I
happened
wouldn't
to that
take
guy?
it.
But he really hates college. Anyway, he's doing a TED Talks in Palo Alto tonight. Should we try to...
Also, yeah, there's a lot of college hate out there, and rightfully so. Liberal arts college screws people over and costs way more money than it needs to. Bring back trade schools, bring back focused specialties, and allow people to expand into more liberal arts and management stuff and business stuff if they want to get into management and upper level strategic leadership. But don't force people to take classes like that if they're never going to use them. They'll learn almost all of that on the job.
Get in?
I dropped out of college. Maybe I should re-enroll and drop out again. Try and get the money.
Yep. All of the signage, by the way, is very, very much in line.
Oh, no.
Is he not a programmer?
Yeah, double macchiato for me, dude.
Yeah. Hey, Rico. You been working out?
I don't want to end up being a Huli lifer, you know, working here forever.
Yeah, working for the most innovative company in the world with top pay and vested stock options. I can totally see why you wouldn't want that.
A lot of people think that way.
You're like an artist, an entrepreneur.
An iconoclast.
I don't know. Maybe.
Dude, we're just messing with you. But we really want to help.
Benefits like that are nice and all, and paychecks are okay. Obviously, he's still having a hard time paying to be able to live where he does, which is very realistic, especially in Silicon Valley, especially post-COVID, which I'm sure this was recorded. I mean, this is season 1 out of 6, I think. So, like, even then, Silicon Valley was expensive. I'm sure it's even more so now. But these programmer bros, they do exist, and they're just as annoying as gym bros are.
Help you with your site. What's it called?
Pied Piper.
Also, yeah, working for big tech isn't for everybody. Working for bigger companies like that versus starting your own. Starting your own company can be really cool, but it's also incredibly challenging. Look up the statistics of failure and be ready to accept that if that's the direction that you're looking to go.
Dude, sounds amazing.
Yeah. Why don't you shoot it over to us and we'll give it a look?
No, don't
Maybe
do
we
that.
Can help.
Do not do that. So far, it's fairly accurate.
Gates, Ellison,
Oh, God.
Jobs, Dell, all dropped out of college.
Oh, Lord.
Silicon Valley is the cradle of innovation.
It was. It
because
isn't
of
anymore.
dropouts. College has become a cruel, expensive joke
Yep.
on the poor
I would agree.
and the middle class
Yep.
that benefits only the perpetrators of it. The bloated administrators.
You are a dangerous man, spewing ignorance.
I don't think so. I'm just saying people should trust themselves more than a system that happily churns out unemployed debtors and provides dubious value.
You know, I'm going to let this guy finish.
True value of a college education is intangible.
The true value of snake oil is intangible as well.
Fascist.
Screaming out fascist is not a good response to that. That name calling is never a good result of, like, or never a good point to get to when it comes to this stuff. But regardless, that's not what I'm here to argue. The old guy sitting down, or the older guy sitting down, was absolutely right. The true value of a good education is intangible. I would argue, though, that education that is received today is not valuable, or not as valuable as most previous generations may think it was. A lot of the skills that are taught there are not distilled down into a actually consumable point, so you don't know how to take that outside of the classroom and use it in the real world. There are some teachers that do it really well. Most of them do not. And I can say that because I went to school and got my associate's degree 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And I'm going back now and experiencing the archaic, behind the times failure of administration and instructors alike in that regard.
the guy that's delivering the TED Talk that says that snake oil also has an intangible value, that's a really nasty fallacy to fall into, because it's comparing education to snake oil. Education is not a snake oil thing. If you have a solid education, it should span outside of an institution specifically, and go into a more general focus in what you're looking to achieve. Education is meant to be a demonstrable. The piece of paper is supposed to be demonstrable of your ability to perform a certain subset of critical thought tasks and ability to be a valuable member of an entity like a company or a commune or what have you, depending on what your value add is intended to be. Calling it snake oil is saying that it is completely worthless. It's not completely worthless. It is overbloated. It is overexpensive. It is ridiculous the hoops you have to jump through to get a basic education, let alone a good education. And finding out which schools actually deliver a good education is nearly impossible until you're in it and nearly graduated. And then you compare and contrast what you're at compared to people that have gone to other schools. And on top of that, when you leave that place, leave that institution, if you're going full-time or what have you, you get into the workforce in your degree field, if you are one of the lucky ones that managed to get in there, or fortunate ones, you're unlikely to use the majority of that degree in your field. That's why trade schools are so great. And I would love if we would see more trade schools out there for software engineering and for a whole bunch of other things. I would love to see specialty schools spring up for all of these fields so that people don't have to go to these big catch-all universities that say, you need management class, you need plant biology for being a software engineer, you need to understand finance before you can jump into being a repair tech for a network switch. Like, you don't. And some people never want to start their own company. Some people live to start their own company. Other people are like, no, I'd rather just work for somebody else and have that kind of stability. Both are viable paths, but one of them doesn't require you to go through management school. So having those specialty classes and specialty schools could be great. Full Sail University was like an incredible like beacon for a long time, way back when, before I started going to college the first time. Unfortunately, they weren't accredited, and so nobody could really trust what they were putting out. And that's a little bit of a difficult spot to be in overall. But that said, I'm hoping that more and more schools or more and more individuals can spring together and create programs that are similar to certifications that drive forward. These boot camps are not cutting it. These half-assed attempts to put you through a course is not good enough. We need something that's accredited and recognized across the industry. And the only way to do that is to normalize the thought that school doesn't make sense for all people. So, yeah, if you're going to perpetuate a thought about education, make sure that you're perpetuating the right one and approaching it in the right direction. Just throwing out a TED Talk about this concept is not necessarily the right way to go, because it doesn't actually capture an opportunity to have a conversation with the entirety of the ecosystem. All it does is force you on stage to be the one in power and allow a bunch of students or a bunch of people that are there to learn laugh at somebody that is a dissenter to your concepts, and responding with a snake oil allegation or that kind of straw man argument or a similar fallacy. I don't know the fallacy off the top of my head. Is a dangerous thing. And then, responding with calling somebody a fascist because they don't agree with you, or you don't have a better response, is also not great. That said, this man is very reasonably a dangerous individual for calling education and college useless. It's not, but the use has diminished. The value has diminished over time.
Ooh. Well, that is before I just give up and go back to college.
Do not do that. Go work at Burger King. Go into the woods and forage for nuts and berries. Do not go back to college.
Sounds like a cult leader, honestly.
I think I have been played. Fine. Go ahead and pitch. You have until I fasten the seatbelt in my car.
Thank you so much. A Pied Piper is a proprietary site that lets you find out if your music is infringing on any existing copyrights. So imagine you're a songwriter, okay?
I don't think I could write a song.
I nodded here because this is how a lot of engineers think and talk, including me. Could be ADD or ADHD honestly, but it doesn't matter. He's on his own thought train now. Good luck with the pitch.
Yeah, no, just imagine if you were.
I don't even think I could say Pied Piper is a proprietary site. Well, I just did, but it wasn't easy.
Look at that Weissman score. 2.89.
I'm not familiar with Weissman scores.
Hey, where have you two been? We're playing the multi-channel router team in 5 minutes.
Okay, how the hell did he do this? And the compression is totally lossless.
A way to do a search on a compressed data space.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and I don't think he even realizes what he has here. He's using it for some silly songwriter app.
All these guys are like that. They're all about consumer facing.
Right, but you take something like this, make it business facing, and use it for enterprise, the applications could be endless.
I mean, a lot of managers and a lot of higher-ups like to abstract into these. You can take something like a house and you can try to reduce the explanation down into Lego bricks. But ultimately, you'll see like slides and pictures and like SEC filings and things like that that don't get into the high-tech side of things. They can talk about this. If you make it customer-facing or enterprise level or whatever, you end up creating this value that they talk about this stuff all the time, and it's so annoying because they are so reductive in how they talk about programming and software. It's not always that simple. And especially when you get to large companies like that, they have massive code bases that are almost completely impossible to maintain without breaking everything else, because most of them didn't start with good frameworks. They didn't start with process-based frameworks, with test-driven development as a core methodology behind their new greenfield development. This is to say, they didn't start by asking questions of what could break, create use cases or concepts that are passed along to the programmers that force them to write tests first and then write code to pass the tests. When you do that, it makes a much more robust and much more repeatable system that allows you to automatically go back and run tests without having to manually run each and every aspect of your code. They also end up being intertangled and intertwined by passing data upstream from an object upward, and then back down, and instead of having a stream of information going through and flowing like an actual stream, you end up with like a congested New York City. Like if you dropped a cloverleaf overpass in like downtown New York, like it would just be a cluster. And that's what a lot of code systems look like.
So, what do you got?
Okay, here it is. Bit soup. It's like alphabet soup, but it's ones and zeros instead of letters.
Yeah, no, that's just stupid.
Because it's binary. You know, binary is just ones and zeros.
Yeah, I know what binary is. Jesus Christ, I memorized the hexadecimal times tables when I was 14 writing machine code.
What? Of course I know what binary is. First of all, a bit is a piece of information. It's a 1 or a 0, all the way down into your microprocessors, which are like your Intel i3s, 5s, 7s, 9s, etc. Same with AMD's side of things. I just don't know their product line that well. An on or an off, that's basically a yes or a no, and that's how processors work. They're just very fast at it. What this guy is talking about, what this asshole's talking about, is insane. I memorized the hexadecimal tables. Nobody does that. Nobody does that, especially if you're meeting with people like this. You don't do that. That's not you. You have a front man that sells your stuff and runs the business, and then you have coders that actually do the work that supports the sale and everything. So this guy irritates me so much. I gotta hear that again.
Yeah, I know what binary is. Jesus Christ, I memorized the hexadecimal times tables when I was 14 writing machine code.
Hexadecimal times tables while I was learning machine code or writing machine code. Machine code is the ones and zeros. Machine code is basically just code that is down to the bare metal of your computer. Nobody really writes that anymore. There's no reason to at all. That's what compilers are for. If you're writing a compiler, arguable that you should probably know that stuff, but yeah, let's go.
Okay? Ask me what 9 times F is. It's 75. I do not need you telling me what binary is.
F is a hexadecimal character, that's fair. When you're talking hexadecimal, most people say, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, beyond that, you have A, B, C, D, E, F. If you want a great example of hexadecimal, you can go to like Adobe Color or something like that. So you can select a color and look at the one with a hashtag or a pound sign in front of it. That's going to be hexadecimal code.
Just like I don't need you thinking about soup or taking pictures of it.
Yeah, that's weird.
I need you thinking about apps, software, websites. This is Silicon Valley.
It's probably those programmers who can't wait to tell me how stupid my website is.
Assholes.
Hello, Richard Hendricks. I'm a total fucking retard.
Hi, this is Jared Dunn calling from Hooli. I'm calling on behalf of Gavin Belson.
Hi.
Gavin
also
is very
true.
excited about your Pied Piper application, and we were wondering if you could come in for a sit down with us.
Even if you recognize the number, pick it up, especially if it's a company. Pick it up as though it's not somebody calling to ridicule you. I always pick up the phone and say, hi, this is Steven, even if my caller ID says I should know exactly who it is.
Well, it's like Gavin always says, it takes change to make change.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think I've seen that written around.
Yeah.
Hey,
Gavin is running 30 minutes late, but you should know he is very excited to see you, Richard.
They always say that.
He's with his spiritual advisor. He shouldn't be that much longer. I mean, I'm a VP here, and I only get to see him about 10 minutes a month.
Yeah, but that 10 minutes is just incredible.
I heard Richard Hendricks was here.
Brown nosing.
Have you ever met Gavin before?
No.
No?
Oh, I told them. It's amazing.
That hardly begins to describe it.
Oh, God.
That's weird. They always travel in groups of 5. These programmers, there's always a tall, skinny white guy, short, skinny Asian guy, fat guy with a ponytail, some guy with crazy facial hair, and then an East Indian guy. It's like they trade guys until they all have the right group.
Yes. Yes. This is absolutely... God, that's terrifying. Yeah, no, it's true.
Really?
Fill him in, Jared. Now, as you know, Hooli is seen as possibly the most progressive company.
They would not have a meeting like this out in the middle of the floor. They would go back to an office to have a discussion like this. If they're very excited about an application or very excited about a technology that you've written or somebody else has written, they make sure to do that behind closed doors because they don't want other people knowing what their acquisition plans are or what their buyout fee is, because that allows for other companies to pay a higher payout for the application to get an industry leg up, especially with something that's as important and key as rapid compressed file searches. Stop.
In that spirit, Gavin is prepared to give you a very substantial raise and a promotion to go with it.
I own 10%. He created it while living...
Ouch. No.
I don't know what any of that means, but I'll give you $600,000 for it. We have the reach and the resources to take what you have done and push it to the global level.
If it's that important to Hooli, 600K is not going to cut it. When you have people that are that excited at the top level of a company, especially when you're talking CEO, 600K is... They're not going to offer 600K for something that's worth 10 million. They're going to offer 8 million and hope to God that you take 8 million.
It's Peter Gregory. Not sure how he got my number.
This is Richard.
I'll give you $3 million for it right now.
See?
Gavin Belson just offered me $3 million for Pied Piper.
I'm prepared to give you $300,000.
They actually looked at it?
Peter Gregory just offered me 300. Did you say 1,000?
For 10% of your company.
Okay, $4 million.
$2 200,000 for 5%.
Huh? Yeah, you just went down.
No. You're still valued at $4 million, but you own 95% of a potential billion-dollar company. And not just that, I will help you build this company.
Yes, that is a better deal. Anytime you have the opportunity to stay a controlling interest of your company and your idea, do that. Absolutely do that. You do not want to be the guy that just sells out when an app like this could be billions of dollars.
I will introduce you to the people you need to know,
and that is
provide
important too.
the counsel that you need. I will take a small piece, but the company will belong to you.
That's monumental.
Gavin Belson. You have until tomorrow to decide.
Okay.
Take the deal with the Ted guy.
You know...
Pull your head out of your ass, Richard. I'm offering you $4 million right now.
That is a lot of money.
It is.
But right now...
Okay, 10 million.
No.
Oh.
Maybe. I didn't mean to snap at you. I'll talk in a bit. Won't be long.
That's a vomitous amount of money for one person to talk about.
I'm the founder of Aviato, and I own a very small percentage of Grindr. It's a men-to-men dating site where you can find other men within 10 miles
Not just
of you
men.
interested in having sexual intercourse in a public restroom.
Called it. Yep, I would too. 10 million's in.
So, who will survive? It's just a garden variety panic attack.
Yep.
And what do I do if I feel another panic attack coming on?
Would you be interested in a device that links up to your smartphone
No.
and it keeps track of your vitals and it tells you, even before it's happening, whether you're having a panic attack or an actual heart attack?
Yeah, that sounds great.
You would, right? Okay. That's great news because it's still in prototype phase right now, but my startup partners and I are looking for...
That is too real. People do that to me. And a lot of them are great ideas. You have to learn when to say no. And I've said no to a lot of ideas. Said yes to a couple of them, but I've said no to a ton. Yeah, $10 million is a lot of money. It's a life-changing amount of money. And they should...
Richard!
I understand why they didn't
Hi.
start there.
Monica, I work with Peter Gregory. Met outside the TED.
Yeah, I remember you. What,
How did she know where he went? That would be my first question.
How'd you know I was here?
There we go.
Peter Gregory's invested in a company that uses GPS and phones to track people.
Illegal.
It's creepy.
You don't know the half of it. Neither does Congress.
Illegal.
Buried in that clunky UI of yours is a compression algorithm that blew our engineering team away.
I want to talk about that for a second. Clunky UI is something that plagues most places. And a lot of people, especially end users, people that use it on a daily basis, that's all they do. They rip apart the UI. If he coded it correctly, the UI doesn't matter. The UI can be swapped out like a variable in a mathematical equation. It can be changed as easily as the curtains in front of your window, if you write the code correctly. Many companies, like I was talking about earlier, don't write the code correctly, and the UI, the UX, the user interface slash user experience slash graphical user interface, whatever you want to call it, that becomes intertwined with the code behind, the logic of it, the heavy lifter of everything. When that's the case, it makes it impossible to make the code clean, or damn near impossible. There's a separation of concerns, and there are a couple of frameworks that are used there. MVVM, MVC, MVP, not minimum viable product, but rather it's a model view presenter pattern. Just as much as doctors have acronyms, programmers do too. But it's important to make sure that that presenter, or rather the view in MVC, the view in MVP, the view in MVVM, which is model view view model, which, you know, the second or the first V in MVVM. That view is the UI. It needs to be its own thing, its own deal. And when that's its own deal, everything else just serves up information to it, and all of the logic behind is on its own layer. And then the data is a different layer behind that. That's the model side of things. So the clunky UI does not matter if he wrote his code in a way that is separated. And code behind can be incredibly spaghetti coded or intertwined as well, but you can usually fix that so long as it's not tied to your UI.
And what do you think Huli is going to do with it?
I don't know. That's their business.
Monetize the hell out of it.
Baby. Do you even realize the impact that a compression this good could have on the world? Getting any file on your mobile phone in an instant. Navigation data for self-driving cars, mobile medical imagery, all transmitting with no quality loss. This is game-changing. And don't you want to be in the driver's seat when that happens? You really want to just turn it all over to Huli, walk away?
This is a dangerous sales pitch because it's good. She's right. You want to be in control of it, because if this explodes from where you're at in your office chair up to, or your yoga ball or whatever, up to $1 billion company, what do you want to see?
You want to build something and see it through.
So just to be clear, you're all right with me saying no to a deal that will net you $1 million outright?
No, Richard, I'm not all right with it. I'm excited about it.
Okay.
Let's see how high this rocket can fly, partner.
I don't like him, but good on him for supporting this guy.
Okay, great. That's great. Not partners, exactly. But everything else is great.
Good clarification.
Call it what you want.
Good clarification.
Always blue, always blue, always blue, always blue. Stay always.
Anytime I see something like this, I look at the screens. I look at what I'm seeing, like, specifically here. I try to, like, get a better view of it. I can't see a whole lot here, but it's looking like we've got, is that 6 console windows. This one looks like it's a file directory. This one looks like a Linux LS. It's possible. I think I said this in my previous reaction, and this is a common theme. A lot of TV shows and movies and things like that will just put a bunch of text on the screen to make it look important or look accurate. Same with this one. This one actually looks like it has like the same thing going on as this one. Makes sense. It's a budgetary thing. That said, most programmers don't work like this. Most programmers don't have this many like code windows open. Some do. But you're never looking at all of them at once. They would not be arranged like this. You'd have them tabbed behind. You'd have them on a separate monitor. Working on a single monitor sucks. I've got the one you're seeing right now. I've got one right in front of me underneath the camera. I've got one on that side, and then I've got one down to the left. And sometimes I can hook up a tablet or a phone or whatever for another monitor if need be. And it's still not enough. I could have my entire room filled with monitors, and I'd still find more need for more monitors. Regardless, it wouldn't look like this. It's possible that they have this many windows open. If they're running a server, they wouldn't have 2 of them open unless they were doing A/B testing, which is a whole different beast.
I just want to say, I'd like for this company to just be different than Huli and Ghoulie Bib and all the rest, you know? Like, let's not turn this into a corporate cult, you know, with bike meetings and voluntary retreats that are actually mandatory and claiming to make the world a better place all the time. Let's just think different. Don't think different.
They all say that in the beginning. I just want to be different. Well, then be different. Don't say you're different. Be different. Yeah, there were a couple of things that they throw in there, obviously, because it's like the Hollywood mentality and all that stuff, but or like algorithm, I guess. For the most part, really good. That's kind of what it feels like to try to start a company, even if you don't have a massive investor. If you do have an investor, it can make a big difference. Back in the day, I spun out to work with another guy on a contract deal. I left my job at the time, and it was really bad for me. It was a good experience, but I blew through that money so fast. So fast, which was super unhealthy. It was a really bad move on my part. But that's what it felt like. It felt like, well, I got to take the leap. I gotta follow this. I got to do something about this. And I did, and I learned a lot. And I made a lot of mistakes with it. Let me know if you want to see more of Silicon Valley as a reaction series from me. Thanks. And until next time, have a good one.